working on this for a while.
Why are you excited, Daniel? He said, yes, yes.
And we've been working on the tooling for a while, so let's see.
All right. I'm curious then.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I started recording, but because we have an AI note taker here, it doesn't say anything, it doesn't show me anything, it doesn't even show I'm showing a screen, but I hope you see it. And where we are in the knowledge base workgroup on 18th September. And we are moving to looking at how do we assign rewards based on participation. And we have had time previously to build us this kind of tool. You may have seen videos previously, and probably in the meeting summary or on the description below, you will find some extra links to this overview of what you have in here. And right now, I'm not gonna give you full overview, but what we did is like last time we had knowledge-based workgroup, and we decided that we are going to have this meeting where we assign these rewards to see this full process, because we never really assigned the reward yet. And there are a few more updates. For example, WIMS, the column will show how many minutes was spent into the meeting. And this will also affect how much rewards you get. So if you are in meeting 22 minutes, you will get less rewards than somebody who is in 20 minutes. And on the left side, it's basically easy. You load up the group you want. If you are from a different work group, of course, you can select whatever work group there is in Ambassador Program, and then you will have to fill out your contribution type. In our case, we already had this is set up. We know what is participation, we know what is contribution. And once we decided and load subgroup, we will have this kind of dashboard on the right side. If you want to go details, there is the whole list of everybody's what kind of contribution or participation points they get. But today's our goal is to agree or find out if this fitted reward amount that is distributed for this last, not this meeting, but the last meeting, is this a fair amount? And if it is fair amount, then basically we have succeeded in our endeavor for now to start it. And it already automatically highlights green every person who was in the last meeting call. However, today, if you want to kind of check, like let's say, assume Ayo also joined the meeting, we can see he has contributed before by AGX ratio, his contribution reduced by participation time 100. And if I simulate results again, then, well, I wouldn't get anything. So I don't know what did change. Did anything change? Interesting. If I would join, nothing will change in fitted reward amount, but there are some changes on these ones. So I guess it's even if I add all of them, nothing really changes. Yeah. I would assume this is related because there is so many people in the call. What happens if I remove, if these new people wouldn't have joined? Okay, and then these would. Okay, nothing. Well, now we can see that there is a very little effect having when your contribution is small. But there is a huge hypocrisy. What you can see here is my contribution is always like way ahead, and that's also showing the other thing, which is like if I'm only the one doing the work, should we have this kind of meetings? And then we also like try to make this reward fitting more like negative. I think before I had even higher AGX ratio before we like updated it. And there was some scenarios where I'm actually getting less rewards. This would kind of now show interesting situation. Like if I remove Effiom here, who was the second largest contributor, yeah, the others would get, well, Lord Kissy would get $1 less or more. So that's kind of showing that a lot of rewards will go to waste. Like if we are like allocating $50 per meeting and to entire group, then yeah, and yeah, without $20 per hour per person, max reward. Then and if the rewards are going to waste, that's another reason for all the members and everybody to be aware of like something is off in this workgroup. And yeah, clearly we can see I'm barely hanging in. So we are wasting $3. So it's but yeah, in upcoming quarter, I hope I'm able to give away more power to others. And I guess if you are catching up because mainly this quarter was about these meeting summaries and the prep work, and that was like the highest documentation and this like huge document about process. And these smaller are coming from this asynchronous work. But if you want to see what happens if I'm not in the meeting, then automatically Effiom would get $30, but then Lord Kissy would get double the amount, and also Korga would get double amount. However, $9 would be wasted. So those participants who are contributing will get more. But yeah, adding people, other contributors in wouldn't still give them enough rewards to reach to this reward level. Anyway, so this is the tool, and we can play around, see a bit. But what are your now thoughts on the way last meeting rewards are presented to us based on the algorithm we decided? And do you think it's fair compared to what happened before? Compared to we had basically $20 per hour who is facilitating, and it was always me. So in that sense, it didn't change, but now others also are getting more rewarding.
Oh, this tool does look interesting. You know, I'm just going through the numbers and I'm praying I don't get confused. But was there a document on this to like how the figures work or something?
No. So we basically what we did, I think it was actually a Tevo PBL work group, and every meeting I presented, and then like in the meeting summaries we have, I think, decisions written how it what made this tool. So the end of the discussion was like a decision, what should we try? But yeah, that would make actually sense to create like a one document that has all of that information.
And all work groups could actually do the use that tool, right?
Yes.
For
So the tool itself is
different purposes.
Yeah. Well, the purpose is probably theoretically should be the same for everybody. I don't know, like, can we change the purpose? Like, our purposes were to have a way to find like a golden ratio for participation. And the issue was like, the facilitator, yes, is like an important role, but sometimes the environment, like the people who join in these calls, they make the space. And now it's rewarding, and now like coupling it with you get rewards based on how much you contribute. The more you contribute, the more you get rewards. But if everybody starts contributing, then everybody starts getting equal rewards. Or if there is situations where like one is contributing twice as more as another one, then you already get kind of can see the difference coming here. And there are some like playful elements like levels and yeah, some nifty tools that try to even more like reduce rewards and kind of push out that value of participation. So, and if we reward these people for this meeting, this will be the idea that will be fully like participation rewards. So all of that rewarding this meeting or through that thing would reduce everybody's AGS ratio, but the higher it is, the more it will basically drop because it's like because your contribution doesn't change. So if the more you meet, the less meeting rewards you will get, unless you do some contribution in the middle. So the point here is to kind of incentivize contribution, whatever it may be. So you make this meeting about or asynchronous, like how do we contribute next and how do we distribute so the work that is deemed as contribution and so that everybody can get the reward. Because I would probably still leave a lady that like maybe you are like also wondering like why don't I get reward? Like what you have to do so that you could also get rewarded for being in this call. At least like that's the assumption, a hypothesis that you are interested in to learn how to increase your reward amount.
I'm actually interested. That is why I'm just going through it. Hey.
But yeah, every work group, and these are like this. If there are other work groups who have the same kind of interest or they are willing to try it out, I did like, but considering that previously all these meetings costed like $30 around that, like based on did I do like a hour or 1 hour 50 call. Now I added another 20 on top of that, which is actually makes sense if you look at like a bit more. We haven't done it in Ambassador Program, I think, but if you look out of scope, then like in Catalyst, there was that, and we have in Governance School somewhere else we did that where you have co-hosts too, and the co-host helps to kind of do the meeting notes and all that Zoom stuff. And theoretically, I assign co-hosts to people, but I never really reward that. So now it's all kind of calculated into this one, but it might increase the costs for every budget. So yeah, but it's all, again, it's a tool, so you can change like, we don't want to reward that much, or we don't want to reward too many dollars per hour. So we have different meetings, like different meetings that have different value. So you can play around with that. And let's assume this meeting could only be like 30 minutes long. Then I will get $10, Effiom will get $10, Lord Kizzy will get $3. Let's see if I add now these people in who never get rewards, still never get rewards. Because the contribution percent. Oh, now I get it. Okay, and I always fail because this, I didn't give them minutes because this participated 0 minutes in the meeting, we get no rewards. So I should have put in some kind of number behind them to add towards. Yeah, now we're getting it. Okay, so the 100 IMAG will get $4 now in this scenario because if he participates half of the session, but if it's like all full duration of the session, okay, still maximum. Because 50 minutes, it was already maximum because we had 1 point, I mean, we had a 30-minute call, but actually we budgeted for 1 hour call. And now there is a difference. It's 50 minutes because we almost less than half and already rewards going out. Anyway, getting sidetracked. I kind of lost also what I was talking about. But this now we learned why why this didn't give rewards or didn't calculate towards this.
What is rocket or what is science?
Oh, in in quotes. Yeah, I mean, not that soon. Yeah, I think I mean, when you change Andrew's minutes to 200, the AG's figure and the fitted amount, yeah, like 2000, yeah. And when it was 0, it was 50. I think 50 and 2000 was the same amount. So I was kind of what's the back? I mean, what's actually computing this? I didn't get it well.
Yeah, so if it's so right now, why it didn't work before is like I changed the main parameter and I said the entire last meeting you get $50 for meeting in 30-minute call.
Okay.
And then why did it change was because I had it on 50 and that's almost and it's more like 30 minutes and it's then only needed. So everything that is above 30 in here should get like maximum rewards. But as soon as you go below 30, you can see like the numbers are getting smaller. So that's why nothing changed here on that front. And why it didn't work at the start of the call is because I just didn't add any mins. And if you don't add any mins, it assumes 0 meetings, like 0 minutes participating.
Okay. It's better now. Yeah, I got it. Okay, thank you.
Tevo, I actually wanted to ask because I noticed something. What's it called? The fitted and reward amount is not supposed to, it's meant to be the max amount that we set per member, right?
The max amount per member is here.
Yeah, I think it's 20.
Yeah. So why this is 30 is because the hours for the meeting is allocated 1.5, like it's more than a hour. But if I would change it to 1, it should change it also to 20. As you can see, it would. But the total amount don't change because of reason. And that's hopefully again the reason now people are seeing, hey, we are wasting $30. We allocated 50. But because Tevo, you are not handing off your work, only you are getting rewarded.
Yeah, so okay, that makes sense. Because initially I thought that the max amount, regardless of the hours, it won't affect. That max amount will still be the fitted amount. It can't. That's the cap, regardless of how many hours you put. That's what I thought. But then I think it's hourly, so per hour. So it's per hour, not per the duration of the meeting, regardless of the number of hours. So yeah, I think that's clear. And again, I also wanted to note this to maybe sound like love. The data is mostly 3 months, the last 3 months, right, Tevo?
Yeah. So there are 2 more parameters here. One is which group we're looking like, how many months we want to go into. So if we want to go 6 months past, then I need to calculate it. Or if let's say only what happened in previous 1 month, because I couldn't do that much. Actually, let's do 2 months because I was like most of the time on vacation. So let's see if that changes anything.
Yeah, we do 2 months, then I think that would change because you were not available. So I think Lord Kizzy and myself probably were the ones that did most of the facilitation. And
it's still same results, kind of. Well, Effiom, you will be starting to get more rewards because I think you got 10 before.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's still because it was 47, I think it was before. But you can see the contribution amount is like 400 AGX less. So the numbers are smaller, but because it's not about the total amount of work you do, it's about the ratio between the participation and contribution and the effect or the effect of you in the meeting compared to others and their AGX ratios and like their contribution versus participation. So everything started from how do we compare participation and contribution, and now we're doing that comparison, but we're doing it also cross people.
Cross people, yeah. So the ages and ratio would always definitely play a major part, because I think that was the basis of the first conversation: participation versus contribution. So that would always be like one of the sticking out parameters.
I'll make a picture to see if I load Workgroup again. Just the amount of people that have been participated in knowledge base also has been reduced in the last 2 months. Like if you put 3 months, we see more names popping up. But yeah, essentially it's pretty much the same. It's just a contribution amount. I had 400, Effiom adds 150, Lord Kitty also slightly more.
Yeah, I was just saying I would like to see it work with what did you say, Treasury Guild or the next step?
Yeah. So right now I haven't automated it yet, but I think I added it into Treasury automation workgroup proposal, and they did get passed, if I'm correct. Which and then this is the reason why I wanted to start it from next quarter and not now, but just to demonstrate what the manual operation would be before we make a button here, because I would have a button here where you can select a meeting you want to assign these rewards to. And let's assume I select this latest knowledge base workgroup, and there is a button reward. So these fitted rewards are going, we previously did some filtering, so I'm going to do that filtering now. Knowledge base workgroup. And we know this is a participation task. Let's just take one. And we know it's the latest one, so I'm just gonna filter by oldest to newest. Actually, it doesn't matter which way. But now I go to the bottom. The last meetings are these ones. And currently, oh, but now, of course, I did not think of that. Like, what happens if I import a meeting before I import the rewards to it? So we need to make sure we don't do the rewarding before. In current case right now, I would have to do a new payment, right? Because those who are false, Tandis, Live, Mopul, Osmium, Prefina, and Tevo. Oh, well, actually, Tevo is false, so it's not paid yet. So I can add that fitted amount of 30 to here. 300, that would be nice. But right now I'm doing it manually, but the point is that the button will do that thing. And basically, which is a good point, I should have 2 buttons here. One is assign to previous meeting, or another button is create a duplicate meeting. In case the participation rewards went, or like the meeting has been recorded on chain already, but without rewards. And the other 4 people are Effiom, Gorga, and Lord Easy. And Lord Easy already got rewarded. So yeah, we need to make a new meeting here. On Lord Easy. It's gonna make it like that. Yeah, doing it manually may not be a great idea. It's gonna be much harder. Yeah. Because these are the people who I should be rewarding, and I think it's best if I insert them actually through here. Else I might run into all kinds of weird problems. So the task date is still the same. The name should be, yeah, we say name, and we just say missing, yeah, let's say missing rewards. Such this. People who get rewarded are these people. Group name. We have it. So we have it here. Think, yeah, there was even this one. Task labels. Yeah, let's keep that for now. But we need to discuss if we want to keep our operations in these work groups, because if we do, it basically a rewarding contribution while rewarding participation. But it's only 33%. So, but it's still. For now, I could say, I don't know. Maybe let's remove it. We have the power, and then it automatically already is not considered to the next meeting's cost. Anyway, the true one. Okay, these are. Okay, all the other information is not needed. So we just have this. Proof length. What's that? Report. And we want to give them AJs. No, USD. We are calculating USD to them. And these are the Effiom Borga, or is it Effiom Borga? And theoretically, this is okay. And now we created the new tasks, basically, with the missing rewards, which don't have the mins because they already got their mins rewards, but they didn't get the USD ones. So this will come with the next batch. New task ID and recognition. And that's it. Right now I did it manually, of course, but the idea is that there's a button that does exactly the same thing I just did. So instead of, because all the information is already existing here. As you can see, I copy pasted existing information. I didn't come up with anything new. Well, I technically did. I did remove operations, but that is all something that is in future going to always be like we remove operations from knowledge-based workgroup. Even though we may do operational stuff now, but because we want to incentivize contribution even more, we want to like also make operations more like contribution in the future, because I think like operational activities are things that needs to be kind of done. Either it's like sharing announcements in Discord or changing calendar, or I don't know, whatever things we find as operation is a contribution because it moves stuff along. Anyway, any final thoughts, comments, questions?
No, from my end. I just wanted to ask about what you just said concerning operations. You said it doesn't really fit with contribution. Well, I don't think it does fit with participation, because operations could come in different form. Could be, like you said, giving an announcement, sending out agenda preps, and I don't know, reminding people of whatever items they've been organizing, and I don't know, any other assigned tasks. But I don't know, it doesn't fit into participation.
Oh, yeah, that's what I actually meant. And that's why we removed it from this meeting label. Because right now it is participation, because it's just because most of the meetings we had the label operations, and technically all the meetings were participation. And that's why, yeah, the labels in knowledge-based workgroup are not as ideal, but that's another good reason, in my opinion, to have this tooling in front of us, is to kind of figure out how do we label our activities, our tasks, our assets in a way that will reflect either correct amount of participatory rewarding and or contributory rewarding. Of course, we can make it super complicated later, because we can, like here I said, invoice, contribution, participation. Like, over time, we can make it as complex as we want, and we can improve the algorithms and make all kinds of odd stuff in here. But for right now, it's just.
I don't like the idea of complex. I would say let's make it as simple as possible.
Yeah. And yeah, right now it is kind of contribution, participation, but we kind of need to be aware. So every workgroup, if they want to kind of establish it, it probably needs to either join up and kind of go through all of the work they are doing. Let's say if a video workgroup would like to try and see if they should start rewarding people who contribute. And then they see, okay, because they also have operations on the media meeting workgroup, they probably couldn't use these rewards, or maybe they could because they have no rewards on meeting. I'm just for fun gonna check it out. How is that gonna affect if we change operation to contribution? Update, load again, and then simulate. Oh no, division by 0. Because now the last meeting he found was this the new one we just created, not the and yeah, because I don't have the meeting selector here, and that's another thing, and then I would manually have to create that. Just gonna not filter, I guess. I'm just gonna click the random button because of that error, and now I can start coloring stuff. And I'm gonna give everybody just the maximum, I don't know, means. I don't have time to. I know that these bottom ones didn't affect anyway, so yeah, let's just take until here, simulate. Yeah, still the same rewards. So so we maybe can. I need to look at it. I'm just gonna write it down for now. Can label. Oh no, because now it's the big difference. Like right now, yeah, okay, so we can probably use it. Like if my assumption is right, that it only affects if the meetings gave any financial value to the being in the meeting. If it didn't, it doesn't actually affect, I assume it doesn't affect the contribution amount or the ratio. However, now when we do this, now we should remove it from operations, because now we are actually, this is the model that gives the financial value for this participation meeting. but not for everybody. But yeah, I wouldn't want to kind of that for being in the last meeting to go and apply $30 to more contribution, because that would mean that the more meetings I go, the more funds I get. But that should be vice versa. It should, I mean, it doesn't mean vice versa, but it should be the more contributions you do, not the more meetings you do. We need to kind of remove all the labels that meetings provide. That could be contribution somewhere else. Anyway, but where I came from here was looking at video workgroup, and then basically the idea is that they go through their tasks and figure out, okay, I'm just going random stuff like translation. Is it contribution? Yes. And tag is content creation, translation. And I actually have more tooling around that just to go. So it's not, you don't have to just go row by row, and you have so many like options. But yeah, all of that comes over time. Right now we're like in alpha, but we just got past figuring out what should the algorithms be to make that number even working. And now we are working on how to get it easily. It's just a few clicks to the meeting itself. And of course, the next step, once this like using the tool is useful after it's configured, it should be about how do we do this configuration analysis. Here we have task labels, subgroup source, similar like that. And we don't have any examples here for some reason. Yeah, you basically, this is like a way you can see, here is a video workgroup as an example output. And don't remember how do you use that. Yeah, we need to remind yourself, but then having like dashboards where you basically click around and see, okay, what are the coordination tasks? What are the operation tasks? And you kind of then suss out based on where this label is used, should it be contribution or should it be participation? And then going through all the labels, and eventually you kind of end up with your own workgroup idea of what is contribution and what is participation. And then you can use it.
Yeah, you basically just your last statement, basically what I wanted to just chime in. I want to say that I'm assuming that the contribution type would be configurable for each workgroup and guild, because what we deem as participation may not necessarily be what they will deem as participation. It might be contribution on their end, and ideally it should be across board, but then we can't necessarily speak for everybody when it has to do with how they define tax label and labeling for for each of their tax per se. So I don't know if I'm thinking in part of the automation would be able to update the config table, the config table for for each work group in a way, so they can easily change their contribution type.
Yeah, and this is currently the way it's working. It is like that. You just don't have yet good analytical tools. So it's basically row by row, every workgroup has to figure themselves out. So when you are selecting a different, like we said, video workgroup, right? What we have, we're just gonna take something else, strategy going. We take strategy, we load that strategy on here. It automatically, of course, sees who were in the last meeting, but that doesn't help us because we have no contribution type. And then, but these are all the labels their tasks have. That was introduced 3 months ago. And then you're like, oh, okay, if they audited, is it contribution? Or then maybe let's see what is communication and operations, probably is the same thing, it's participation. Yes. Reasons. coordination is probably participant. And we can also see some of means, like where is the highest amount of time spent. And the operation is twice. So you can see also we have this label stuff we need to work out on treasurer operation call, like that we don't assign two different types of labels, which have the same meaning. And the rest of them are probably contribution. And then we update. Right now, yeah, it's should update in one one button click, but right now I need to click it as many times there are label names. And now we will basically have this strategy will have their own. So if I go to somebody else again, process squid, load, they have no clue where what are contributions, what are not. So they will have to do their own thing. And now we come back to the knowledge base, not knowledge base, what we just did here. And participation task. Interesting that it did find, maybe I have some kind of default participation name if it doesn't provide a name, because it was able to find minutes. But now, as you can see, everything I wrote before is already here. And the AGX ratios based on whatever the current tasks are. And if you simulate the results for their last meeting based on these results, we will say that IO should get $30. And also in their work group, $11 are going to waste because majority of the work is done by IO and Effiom and GME are like two second people who are contributing.